Welcome back to the Retire As You Desire show. In this segment, we're going to talk about how to stop spending money just so frivolously. I know I've done it before, a lot of our clients have done it before, and I get a lot of phone calls from people asking, how do I stop spending money? So I've created 2 different ways that are going to help you not only think before you spend money, because let's face it, it's too easy to get on your phone, go on Amazon or go on eBay or wherever you're buying things and purchase things because you have your Apple Pay, things go quickly, PayPal. It's super convenient, but it's also not helping you save money for retirement. Because for every dollar you spend, you're giving up a better version of yourself in the future. So that $1 could create 5, 10, 100, depending on where you put it and invest that money. So here's 2 things that I've done personally, and I've also helped our clients do this. And it's really made a big difference from a saving and investment standpoint. Even to the point where some of our clients are able to save 50% of their income now because they stopped spending money. 50%, it's unbelievable. And again, these are simple tactics that you could really implement today. So the first one is, if you're gonna spend money, let's say you wanna buy a pair of shoes. You've been thinking about these shoes for months, they finally went on sale, and they're $200. Here's what you wanna do before you spend that money. Let's say if you're gonna buy the $200 pair of shoes, you have to invest $200. So you're gonna spend $200, but you're also going to invest that same amount of money, let's say in the stock market, because that way, if you invested $200, that's gonna help grow that money. And that's gonna create the opportunity to, have more shoes or save for retirement or have a bigger and better financial future. And this is true for anything. If you're gonna spend a $5,000 amount on, let's say, a watch or a ring or a purse or anything that you don't need, and believe me, I'm preaching to the choir here, but let's say if you're gonna spend that money, automatically know that you have to spend that money in some form of an investment first. So that way you're getting to the very simple principle of invest first and then you could spend, but as long as you invested the money. This has been a huge game changer for our clients because when people come to us, they just wanna know if they're all right. That's the biggest thing about money. People want to know if it's okay to do things. I saw a client just on Sunday and she asked me, can I, and literally Sunday, not in front of my computer, nothing like this, but she asked me, can I redo my kitchen? And I'm sitting there like, it's Sunday, I'm not working, I'm with my family. But I get these questions all the time. And I know she's a multi-millionaire. It's not going to matter because that equity is going to go into her home, which is a great thing. But she's already saved and invested the money for her future. She's in her 70s. So yes, she can definitely do that. She can afford it. We put different parameters in place where people can know we have an extra amount of spending this year if we want to go on a vacation or we want to go on a big trip or if we want to redo the kitchen. All of those are built inside of our clients' plans. But for the people who are trying to save and get ahead so that they don't have to worry about their future, you want to be able to invest first and then save later. Invest the money and then save later, but also stop the spending. The spending is really gonna hurt you in the long run. Because again, you can do the math. This is another simple trick that you could use that's right on your phone that could really show you how much money you're losing by spending every single dollar you make, and especially if you're not saving. So there's an easy calculator that I like to use. I do this for myself as well. You want to put in the amount of money that this item is. Let's say you're gonna spend $1,000 on XYZ. It doesn't matter. But you put that into your easy calculator. You put a 7% rate of return on that money. So you're probably thinking, if you put $1,000 down, get a 7% rate of return, $70. You're like, I can make that up with work. The problem with that is 7%, hopefully over 20, 30 years, all that money adds up. And once you start getting into the mindset where every dollar counts, every single dollar could be compounding for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that's a game changer in and of itself to understand the actual metrics of your money. So that same $1,000 is going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars in the future to buy something that's probably not going to be worth that in the future. So understand the future value of the things you're spending money on could save you a ton of money and stop getting cluttered in the household as well. So when you're spending money, again, do the homework. If you're going to spend $1,000, understand what that time value of money is going to cost you in the future. If you're okay with losing tens of thousands of dollars by spending the $1,000 now, well, that's up to you. But if you're having trouble getting ahead every month, we need to stop the spending now. And when you go back to the first lesson in this show, if you know what your basis is and you know where your spending's at, those are the hard things to figure out. But once you free yourself up and have extra money every month, if you automatically invest that, that's gonna create a future that's gonna be really compelling for you. But knowing how much money you're wasting by spending is also a big game changer. Now, I want to share with you a really great idea that's going to help charities, but it's also going to help you stop spending money as well. So another idea that I came up with are for our clients who have really big hearts. They love giving to charities, they love helping people, they think of other people first. So they're kind of gun shy on spending their own money first. Here's one of the things that we came up with. And my client, one of them specifically, we came up with this together. They hate spending money. They grew up in the era where their parents were in the Great Depression. They weren't raised on having a ton of things. They were just raised on living a very simple life. There's nothing wrong with that. But life is meant to be enjoyed. So whenever they spend money on things that they don't typically need, what they'll do is they will take that same amount of money and they will match that, send a check to one of their charities that they support. So they're actually getting a tax write-off, they're helping people in need, and they support 7 different charities. They have the biggest hearts. They don't have all the money in the world, they really don't. But they're very aware of spending $500 on an item that they probably or may not need. But if they do that, they want to feel good about themselves. So they actually write a check for one of their charities. And no, this is not on their groceries. This is not on, your everyday living expenses, but this is something that is above and beyond their normal expenses. It's a really great way to feel good about yourself, feel great about helping other people. I think that actually helps with your longevity and less stress and your lifespan, because all of those things mean you're giving to other people and you're making others' lives much better. It's really phenomenal. So to recap, for the session, if you don't know how to stop spending money, idea number 1, if you really don't understand how much money you're wasting, start investing the same amount of money that you spend on things that you don't need. So dollar for dollar. But you have to be honest with yourself. This is what I joke around with a lot of our clients. If you make up an excuse in your head, I really need this backpack, or I really need this jacket, or I really need this, that, and the other, you're not being honest with yourself. If you don't need it, don't spend it. But if you're gonna spend it, invest that same dollar amount. Dollar for dollar, no excuses, do it immediately. You could probably set that up on your phone to have it done like that. Idea number 2, this is a fun one. Before you spend that money, just take out your phone, put the numbers in the easy calculator. It's free to download. I'm not associated with them in any way, shape, or form, but it's a great tool to use to understand how much money you're potentially wasting in the future. Because if you spend that $1,000 on the item, probably very unlikely that the value is going to be the same, as opposed to you putting the money in the stock market for 20, 30, 40 years. And then lastly, this is for my charitable giving clients and the people out there like yourself. If you're gonna spend money on things you don't need, donate that same amount of money to charity. So you don't feel bad about buying something for yourself because you've worked so hard all your life, but also you're gonna make a big difference in other people's lives. That's a win-win scenario in every single way. So I'm really excited to hear about some different saving strategies that you come up with, and thank you for tuning in to the Retire As You Desire show.